Right, hello there, people. I apologise in advance for the level of light. It's pretty dark outside. It's been really quite a busy few days. I picked this up yesterday. This is a TGB Blade 425. It's an '08. TGB, if you haven't heard of it, is a Taiwanese company. It stands for Taiwan Golden Bee, believe it or not. As you'll probably know if you've watched the channel for any sort of length of time, I don't feature anything at all that's off-brand. I tend to stay well away from them. I don't touch them with a barge pole. I think they're pretty crap in general. But TGB, I haven't had them because I think they're crap. I haven't had them because I just haven't had many opportunities to purchase them. I don't think they are rubbish. They're quite an established brand in the UK now. They've been here probably the best part of 20 years now. And overall, opinions are reasonably good on them. I class them as an intermediate brand. So obviously, you've got absolute Chinese junk at the bottom end of the market. If you're in the UK and you're into your bikes, you might remember a company called FAR ATV. They were introduced in about 2012 and they left in 2016, and they were absolute junk. A lot of people bought them, and a lot of people got extremely disappointed with them. I had one that I got traded in, which I really shouldn't have done, but I paid peanuts for it, and it was crap. It was about 4 years old at the time. It was one of the last ones. It was only last year, I think. It was falling apart. It went for export to Poland for a couple £100. It was just complete junk. But this is I view them as an intermediate brand. They're not on the same level as Honda and Yamaha, Kawasaki. They're not on that level. But they're not rubbish either. I'd say they're in between, as I say. I would compare them to Arctic Cat, Polaris. So reasonable bikes, just not up to the same exacting robust standards as some of the Japanese brands. But, you know, as you'll know, I actually really do like Arctic Cat, so things like that don't generally put me off. So yeah, it's a Blade 425. This is PLG registered, same as the 550XR, so we can go anywhere in the country. It's quite pokey for a little 425, fully automatic CVT as you normally have. Neutral, high, low. Weirdly, this is one of the first bikes I've ever had that's got an automatic car type shifter. You physically pull up on the shifters, move gear. It won't let you do it otherwise. That's pretty rare. I do like the positioning of it, to be honest. It's got the higher quality. I like it when it has these caps that go click rather than just letting you tighten them up and up and up. It's very well specified. I do find these TGBs, in an attempt to sell more, because they haven't got such an established reputation, they do put a hell of a lot of equipment on them. It's got hydraulic brakes front and rear. You've got separate levers for each. You've got a separate handbrake, physical cable handbrake, which you need to be PLG registered on the UK roads. Switchable 2 and 4. It's not electronic. It's just on this little cable switch. There's no diff lock on it. Fully lighted from factory. You've got indicators, etc. on it. Yeah, it's a lot of kit. You've got also, if I open up the this little storage cubby, which is really quite a nice feature. I wish more bikes would do this. You've got a storage cubby for your phone or whatever, and you've got a 12-volt socket in there so you can charge it up, which is really quite handy. A lot of bikes have 12-volt sockets, but not within storage cubbies, so you've got no real way of charging anything on the run. This actually has another 12-volt socket there, so if you want to have a sat-nav mounted or whatever, if you're actually on the road with it, you can do. It's got a steering lock, or I presume is a steering lock there. It's got a big cubby on the other side as well. So yeah, a lot of specs on it. It's got a hydraulic foot brake as well, normally cable on the Yamaha, etc. So that's quite nice. It's got alloy wheels. I think these are they 12 or 13 inch. They're 12s. Yeah, 12-inch alloys. It's got a winch from factory on the front. It's not a Warn, it's their own brand of winch. This bike has actually got quite a bit of service history with it, which is quite rare. It's not been on a farm, it's been privately owned, and it does show it's 12 years old and it still looks pretty new. This is what I mean with these brands. Like, if this was a 12-year-old Chinese bike, it would be wrecked. There'd be nothing left to it, but all the bearings, bushings are tight on this. It runs well. If I turn the gauge on, it does have a couple of little issues with the gauge. The speedo doesn't operate, and also the fuel stays on completely empty. I might have a look at that, I may not. But I haven't even got any choke on now. It's not been run for a couple of hours, and I bet you it'll start straight up. See what I mean? Did die because I haven't got the choke on, but it is pretty good engine on it, to be fair. So it's pretty pokey. I had only one issue with it when I first got it, is that for some reason, I think whoever had it before drove it through quite deep water, and the belt clutch casing, is it on this side? No, it's on the other side. It was full of water, so the belt was just slipping. I drained all the water out and it did operate, but I bought a new additional belt to sort it out. There'll be a clip inserted here of me actually sorting that belt out and replacing it. Okay, so you've seen the introduction to this video now, and I am now about to start the belt, changing the belt. So here is the new one. It's a Dayco belt that came from the dealer that I got the, not that I didn't get anything from him except from the belt, but it came from a TGB dealer. It's what they use themselves. So all I've got to do first is pop all these plastic panels off. I'm imagining I need to take this off, this one off, and the footwell. So I'll get them off quickly, and I'll be back. Right, so it's all off now. Obviously this belt casing was just held on with a bunch of long 8mm bolts. Did have to unbolt the footrest steel frame just to get to that last final bolt there. Changing the belt on any of these is dead simple. They all pretty much use a 10mm nut. You literally just screw it into the secondary clutch. It expands the secondary clutch and allows you to pull the belt off. Here's the old belt. It really didn't need changing. As I say, it was driving fine after it dried out. But being I've got a brand new belt with it, and I'm likely to have another one of these for a little while, I may as well put it on. As we can see, it is the original belt quite clearly. There's some minor cracking to it, and if we compare it to the brand new belt, it does evidently have a little bit of wear. It's a little bit thinner, as you can see. So it will do some benefit putting this nice new belt on it. So I'm going to install the Dayco belt, get it all put back together, and then I'll be back. Okay, so you just seen that clip. It did make quite a difference to it. It ran a lot better. So yeah, just a bit of a walk around to show you what these actually are. It's going to be for sale instantly. I've driven it a little bit of a distance, and it all seems to operate fine except from the gauge I've just described. I think it's going to be about 2,600. It will come with an MOT for an additional £150 if you want an MOT on it. It's got 2 keys. So it's got a bit of service history to it. So yeah, message me if you're interested, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.